Scott. Congressman, welcome to the program. As we've been following this, the president is set to host his first press conference in 80 days. He did have a lackluster performance in Georgia when he tried to get support for voter legislation, a few key names not attending that speech. What are your expectations for today?
Well, I think Stacey Abrams was smart enough not to get on that stage with him, right? And the fact of the matter is, in Georgia, we had 4.9 million votes cast this last election. We normally have 3.9 million votes, so I'm not sure whose vote was oppressed, but we had record turnout. And so I wish that our president, the president of the United States, would start talking about the most serious issue that's facing this country right now, and that's Russia and their aggression towards the Ukraine. We have seen Putin in 2008 and in 2014, where he went into Georgia in 2008 and Crimea in 2014. During the Olympics. We're now a month away from the Olympics, and I wish the president would take serious our role on the international stage with regard to not just the security of the United States, but the security of people who believe in democracy and freedom.
Realistically, Congressman, how does the president's handling of the Afghanistan withdrawal, it was so public on an international stage, how does that play into how he deals with foreign policy challenges, including what's happening at the border of Russia and Ukraine going forward?
He hurt our credibility internationally. He hurt our relationship with our partners who have fought with us, not just NATO partners, but other partners. And he needs to make sure that the world understands that while NATO may take the lead in protecting the Ukraine, that the United States is going to do anything and everything in its power to make sure that Putin does not encroach again into another country as he has in the past. We should have already been sending weapons to the Ukraine. Fortunately, the UK is sending weapons to the Ukraine, and the people in Russia, especially Vladimir Putin, needs to understand that if he moves against the Ukraine, he's going to pay a very serious price, both economically. The sanctions should have already been put in place. Unfortunately, President Biden had lifted the sanctions on the Nord Stream 2 pipeline. So the economic sanctions need to be going in place now, and we need to be making sure that the Ukrainians have the ability to fight and defend themselves with the weapons that they need.
Speaking of Nord Stream 2, Senator Ted Cruz recently proposed the idea of putting sanctions in place to really sort of send a clear message to Russia and Putin. That was filibustered by Democrats. It didn't receive enough votes to go through. And we know the filibuster is such a top headline right now, with members of the Democratic Party looking to eliminate or at least change parts of the filibuster to get their voting legislation through. Do you see this as a double standard or a moment of hypocrisy with the fact that we've seen Democrats use the filibuster to stop other legislation they oppose?
Sure, it's absolute hypocrisy. They want one set of rules for their agenda and a different set of rules for the agenda that the American public has. The American citizens want national security. They want the United States to have a position of credibility when it comes to the international stage, and it's absolute hypocrisy by Chuck Schumer and candidly the President of the United States.
Yeah, spoken out and used it when he was a senator himself, of course.
That's right.
All right, so the press conference again today, we've seen recently from the administration a change in focus on COVID as well. They've increased the mask production. N95 masks are going out. They also set up this government website so you can order COVID tests. Do you think that will be enough to really get the surge in cases and struggles that we've seen our nation face in regards to COVID under control?
No, I don't. I mean, I think people have to be smart about this. This is America. You can make your personal decision with your physician whether or not you're going to get vaccinated or not. My wife and I are both vaccinated. That's a choice that we made. I do think that, we still need to be smart about this and recognize that there is an outbreak of the Omicron. At the same time, we can't shut the economy down again. So I do think that they are right about not shutting the economy down again. What I am concerned about is how they've given, our school systems over to the unions, and how in some areas you literally have the unions that are shutting down the school system. So I've got a 4-year-old and a 6-year-old at home, and I can tell you when the schools aren't open, that means that my wife can't go to work, and it's a very serious problem. in handing over the operations of our schools to the unions the way the Democratic Party has in certain parts of the country.
Yeah, we'll see if he's asked on that, where he stands on school closures or the possibility of that. Congressman Austin Scott joining us live on the program. Congressman, thank you for taking the time.
Hey, thank you.
Welcome.
Coming up.